just doing lot rent and what fits your lifestyle, because there is going to be a difference between if you want to do just lot rent and not. Versus what we call park owned. You understand that concept? Everybody understands that concept? Lot rent versus owning the trailers? So for you guys, how many guys here are not doing real estate full time? Okay, so I don't know if I would advise, if you're not in real estate full time and don't have a team, to go jumping into park owned homes, because it's going to be some, it's work, especially if it's a value add rehab. Most of these parks we're buying, depending on how many units, it could be a 3 to 12 month rehab job, depending on the size of the park. Because most of the parks we're buying are distressed, right? So I'm getting such great deals. Not all of them, but most of them. And the ones I'm not buying that are distressed, I am paying a little bit more premium for them, because I don't have to do any work to them. So it's a less, lower cap rate on them. But these right here, you're not gonna make as much money on these deals, right? Because you're gonna get, the average lot rent, I think in America is probably $250 to $350. Is that about right for you guys in those areas? Yeah. Park average is gonna probably run 600 to 1,000. If I'm a chiropractor, I'm a business owner, or I'm a high net worth earner like just say I'm a chiropractor, I make a W-2 $800,000 a year, $650,000 a year, but I don't have a team, I don't have anybody. I'm not going to do this while I'm trying to, because I only make money if I'm doing chiropractor work, and I can't focus on this, because you're gonna have some problems with this, right? I'm gonna probably do this deal right here. I'm gonna probably go after lot rents, unless I find a park-owned home that's not a rehab. If I can find a park-owned home that's nicer trailers, they're 5 to 10 years old, I'll go ahead and do this deal if I'm just a business owner. If I'm a professional real estate investor, like me, I like doing this because I have a team set up, because you're gonna need a team. Because here's the fallacy about property management. Who here has property management? How many people in here have gotten burned by property management? It's to really scale this thing, you want to do in-house property management. Otherwise, they're going to eat your lunch. So you have to, and I'm just trying to give you guys perspective so you can evaluate. And y'all ask questions anytime you want.
For your in-house property management, you pay them a percentage, salary, what's that look like?
Oh no, it's like they're just on. Yeah, they're like hourly and salary.
Hourly employees.
Yeah,
got it.
I got 3 girls in the office, taking all the calls, all the problems, and.
Did you set up a separate company that goes to, or no, it's all together?
It's all together. Yeah. So you just have to. I'm giving you the difference so you can distinguish what your model wants to be. There's no right, there's no wrong. Hedge fund money's all going after this. Blackwater is all going after this. Warren Buffett's going after this because it's super passive, right? Which means what? Which means that there's an opportunity over here because nobody wants this. I've got 4 deals right now from a broker in Louisiana that I'm going to look at, that he pitched them to hedge funds, and they're freaking phenomenal deals. I already looked at them. The hedge funds don't want to mess with them because they're park owned, and they're $2 to $5 million deals. So it tells you there's an opportunity on owning the park, but there is a trade-off and a sacrifice. It's going to be a little bit more. You're going to have to deal with maintenance. You're going to have to deal with all these different things. But the reason I like owning the mobile homes versus, say owning apartments, is like, dude, it's not that much. If somebody trashes my single family home, it cost me, last year I lost $40,000 on my single family home that got trashed. Somebody trashes an apartment unit, that can still cost you about $20,000 if somebody trashes. If somebody trashes my mobile home, the worst they can do is probably 8, maybe 10, but on average, it's usually called, and when they punch holes, they change the floor, it's like $5 to $7 grand. But my rent's still the same as, an average apartment or a single family home, right? So you have to ask yourself, how involved do you wanna be? Do you wanna just be a truly passive? You're gonna buy these at probably a 6 to 8 cap. Because it's so competitive. Right? I can buy these at a 12 to 15 cap. Right? But this is super passive because you don't have no maintenance, you don't have to do, maybe all you gotta do is cut the grass, that's it. So you ask yourself what you wanna do, I can't distinguish that for you. Does this make sense?
Mm-hmm. Are
Yeah.
those on actuals or those on projected? It's like the 12 to 5 you're buying on actuals, or like current, like the income it's currently producing or the projected?
So the last 3 parks I bought were, the cap rate as it stands was a 13.8 and a 13.9 is the last 2 as I bought. But the rents were, for instance, the rents, Zachary, Louisiana bought one at 20 units, beautiful. It was a 13.8, but the rent was $775. Average rent in Zachary is $850, $900. I'm just going there and raise the rents, and bring it back to the bank in 6 months. That is gonna bring the cap rate to probably a 17, right?
So you're buying off actual.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Or we buy?
It's safer to do it that way. Yeah.
Well, we're buying on
And
projections.
in multifamily, you kind of have
Yeah.
to buy off projected right now, it's
Yeah.
just because it's so competitive.
Yeah, yeah. That's why I like this space, guys. This is why I'm in this space, guys. There's the competition. Like, look at, you used to better buy an apartment complex 10 years ago at a 10 cap, sometimes even 11 or 12 cap. You can't find that anymore. Everybody's chasing it, right? So this is why I'm in this space. I've been in this space for 3 years. I saw the writing on the wall. And now all the money's moving towards this, so get in now before it becomes, what Wall Street's done to apartments, right? And rent. So, does this make sense? Does this give you perspective? You ask yourself, how much work do I wanna do? Do I wanna be really passive, or do I wanna, set up a team? And you can get, and if it's a nice park, and it's not a value add, and maybe you're a business owner, and it's, maybe the trailer's 5 years old, and you're buying it as is, you're getting a good deal, maybe you're buying it at 12 cap, go ahead and get property management. But I'm telling you, property management I'll buy a lot of deals from mismanaged parks from property managers. That's how a lot of these deals come from. Yeah.
Is the eviction process easier when it's park owned, or you can just tell me about it?
It's the same. I mean, I can tell, I've got maybe 15 lot rents just that were part of the deal when I bought it. It's the same thing. You can get my notice. They gotta move their trailer. And the problem is most of them don't move it. You take the trailer.
But the eviction moratorium, like it's going on right now, it falls on top of the mobile home.
Yeah, it's the same thing. I
Same.
can't evict them, but we still evict them. And I'm glad you brought that. It's for you guys that struggle with evictions, like we're evicting them based off breaking the lease. You can't evict somebody for non-payment, but you can, like, we walk around like a freaking crazy person looking for trash, animals, dogs. They're not supposed to have any of that. Cigarette butts, we write them up, send them you broke the lease, then we can send it to the judge and they evict them. You cannot evict people for non-payment, but you can evict them for breaking the lease. All right, so
How many trailers have you taken back on eviction? So they don't move it, they just pay it up, or do they just move out?
I own most of the trailers. I only own I think 10 or 15. I think 10 or 15 lot rents out of the 350 units we have. They've all paid. I've never had to. But from talking to other park owners, if it's an 80s or 90s model trailer, typically they don't have the money to move. It's going to cost them $3,000 to move the trailer, another $3,000, $4,000 to set it up, and they don't. And you don't want to be ethical more. You don't want to do that. I'm not going to just take somebody's trailer unless they really. They just can't pay, and there's no way I'm losing money. But I'm going to give them a chance on that. So,
For the lot rent parks, how are you kind of keeping them from getting too trashy, right?
Too what?
Too trashy.
yeah.
How are you kind of regulating that? You say, hey, your mobile home's got to be at least 15 years old, or what? How are you doing that?
On lot rent, I would, if I'm doing lot rent, which I'm not doing a whole lot of, I would say, hey, look, it's got to be at least at 2005 and above.
Yeah.
No more than about 50, because then you get the nicer vinyl side ones.
Right.
The vinyl side trailers just look nicer than the old 80s model trailers.
That's something. If you have like a 40-unit park for just lot rent, that place is gonna turn into the hood real quick.
Well, you just put hey, look, you can't, after a certain amount of years, I know a lot of these lot rent parks, what they're doing is, After it's like 20 years old,
Yeah,
they make them, hey, like, you gotta upgrade, you gotta go buy a newer trailer.
yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah.
This may be a stupid question, but it seems like, is there a reason you have to carry insurance on a lot rent versus, I mean, I know you would have one
Well,
apartment,
just basic general liability.
just general
Yeah,
liability.
yeah, no wind or hail, or all that stuff you have when you have a, building.
So besides taxes and insurance, what are your other expenses on a lot rent park?
Well, if you, water line busting, from the main sewer.
They're all on septic?
Grant land agency?
What, some are on set, I'd rather have city sewer and city water, that's what you're looking for.
Oh, absolutely.
But, I mean, if it's on your side, we had a hurricane bust, one of our, it was on our side, and we had to fix it. So it's, anything that's gonna be under the ground on your side, that's not on the city side, if you're doing lot rent, you're gonna pay for it.
And the septic tanks are on you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there like a industry standard on the septics? Like if it's 100 mobile home park, is there like a certain size or a certain like square footage that you can pencil in for expense for a septic?
Typically, we change them out to like $300 to $3,500 for a septic. That usually handles, I think, 2 to 4.
Do you guys do that yourself? Do you guys have heavy equipment and everything?
No, I don't do that myself. No.
So in the mobile home parks, they're tied into like 4 mobiles can be tied into one?
Yeah, something like that. And every city and state's different.
Right.
You call your city and say, hey, look, this is
What's
what's
the
going on, what do I
regulation?
need, what's the standard?
For trash, you doing dumpsters or individual cans?
It depends on the park. All of my parks except for one have dumpsters.
Okay.
They're all dumpsters, mostly. So, does this make sense? Does it give you perspective like of what you want to do? So how many people want to own the parks or own the trailers versus want to do just, how many want to own the trailers? Yeah. How many want to do lot rent?
It
Just
makes
lot rent.
sense, I'll do that. I'll do both of them.
Just off of that.
Yeah. And there's a lot of different, when you own the trailers, a lot of people are doing too. When you own the trailers and they get a certain age, let's say you got a 10-year-old trailer and you've kept that park for 10 more years, the trailer's 20 years old, it's kind of beat up, you can do a lease option on just the trailer. And you do a $1,500 down, lease option fee, and you do like a 10-year note for the same amount of what the rent would be. And you have no more maintenance, you throw all the maintenance underneath them. And by that time, your park's paid off in another 10 years. They get the trailer, but you have no more maintenance and you don't have a mortgage. So that's another strategy of doing if you own the trailers.
So your 3 girls handle 350 units pretty comfortably?
Yeah.
No problem?
No problem. No problem.
In that situation where they own the trailer on the lease option, then they would just convert to a lot rent model?
Yes, after it's paid off the 10 years,
They just
which
convert to lot.
historically speaking, 80% of them will give it back to you.
That's right.
Right.
And that's a fact, I've seen it happen.
And since the financing is a little bit different for mobile homes, do you ever owner finance those where you can offset repair costs?
Yeah, that's what a lease option is, the same thing, owner finance, lease option, yeah, it's just a different way of wording it, but it's all the same stuff. So it's a different little model here, I mean, you could do that if you wanna do that.
Is that those girls' full-time job, is just taking calls from the park, making sure collection's good?
Yep, that's all they do.
3 of them manage 350 units, it's about 1 in 100.
Yeah, we have that.
One person can manage about 100 units.
Well, like, they do other stuff in the office, one of them helps Patty with whatever she needs with some of the flips. They're doing other, it's not like you're getting calls all day long, every day. It's really not that bad. I mean, some days, you may not get a call for 3 days, and then the next day we get 5 calls in one day, and then we may go 3 or 4 days and nothing again. It's not, and it really depends on how old of the trailer. If you're gonna buy a bunch of 80s model trailers, you're gonna have calls, obviously. That's why I'm trying to get nicer vinyl sided trailers, and when we go and rehab these things, we're gonna get into that too in the rehab section. We're going to put in the nice, like, we're putting floors like this in a $10,000 trailer.
Yeah.
Why? Why
Waterproof.
do that?
They last.
It hardens the property.
You attract different.
Hardens the property. I wanna harden that asset, because that's your biggest, you wanna harden the roof. So we do all 10 roofs when it starts leaking. We do a 10 roof, it cost me $1,500 for a 10 roof, it's lifetime, I'm done. I'll put these floors, lifetime. It's
Chris,
waterproof.
tell them what floors we
Waterproof.
saw in that last park we went into, what they did with the floors.
I don't like that, I don't want.
You didn't like it?
No, I didn't like it.
Oh, I did.
They did, what was it? They just, the underfloor, they just coated it like a gem.
polyurethane.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
I thought it looked nice.
I mean, yeah, but no, not as nice as, I'd rather do this, cause this is lifetime too, I mean, you can,
Yeah.
and like some of these people are, they're not gonna take care of it, you know, the dog's gonna crap on the floor, pee, the kid's gonna drop
You
juice
put
and all that.
cigarettes out.
Cigarettes out, but it doesn't matter, this stuff is hard as a rock. So it's the vinyl planks, they're about $1.50 to $2 a square foot, is that what you're paying for them too?
Yeah, we pay $1.50 for
Yeah.
something very similar to this.
Yeah, yeah, and it's freaking awesome, and do not go with carpet, do not put carpet, do not put, you know,
Oh,
laminate.
yeah.
Yeah, we're buying a bunch of it. We're getting all the whites and grays and paint. We stick into like whites and grays, it just looks really pretty.
And you're not buying double wides, just single wides.
Yeah, yeah, that's right, do not buy double wides, folks. I mean, double wides, they almost like clockwork. That seam in the middle, where it splits it always busts and leaks water and molds the damn poultry. That's done that to me multiple times, and I'm gonna pay double for a double wide, because the cost, I'm getting charged $2,200 to $3,000 to move a single wide. A double wide's like $8 to $10 grand to move. And I can't get that much more in rent for the double wide. I can get an extra, $100 to $200, and it takes up too much space. Just go with the single wides, keep it simple.
Chris, what is the average size, did you say, of your parks?
The minimum I like to buy is 24 units. I'm glad you bring it up, because if you don't do more than 24, it's hard to make cash flow after property management. You want to do at least 24 units.
So in one park,
Yeah, yeah.
What about,
That's what I've noticed, it didn't make any, because I bought an 8 unit, I'm like, I've been trying to sell it. It doesn't, there's not enough units, right?
what about like the $1,000 a month that the park owned? What class of trailer are you looking to get that rent?
That's gonna be about a B minus. So the ones I'm getting 1,000
Yeah.
to 1,100, that's Gonzales, Louisiana, Denham Springs, Louisiana. They're working class, middle class areas, they're next to plants. I like investing in ports, That's why I invest heavily in Baton Rouge. New Orleans is a good spot. Anywhere that you guys live by ports,
Houston,
Houston, what's below Houston, they're the ports you
The
have.
Corpus
port,
Christi, Galveston.
Galveston, now it's Galveston.
Texas City.
That's gonna be, there's gonna be tons of
Great town.
jobs, yeah. I like ports, because I mean, we don't see the ebbs and flows of crashes and economic. And that's the other thing, I mean, even if it crashes, historically speaking, I'm just gonna get all the people that are renting condos for $2 and $3 grand a month, they're gonna come down to this,
yeah.
right? So it's bulletproof, right?
And is your screening process any different than like your apartments?
Great, I'm glad, okay, so screening, right? We use IDI, you know what IDI is.
TLO, IBI.
They tell us all the information about them, been arrested, or it's worth everything. And this piece on the management side, or on the screening is so huge, because I'm telling you, you have one bad tenant that will wreck your park, and then they'll get all the rest of the good tenants to move out. Take your time, even if it takes a month, 30 days to get one rented, get somebody that's got 3 times the income of the rent. No excuses, nothing.
You're doing a 3X?
Yeah. Yeah,
I do 2.5 apartments.
yeah.
What are your average units? 2 bedrooms, 1 bath, 2 twos?
I mean, I love the 3 twos. Right now, Clayton has got the Freedom model, it's Clayton Mobile Homes, but it's a Freedom model. Right now, the prices went up because of COVID, but they told me after the first day going back down, I can get a brand new Freedom Edition, which is the stripped down model. It's not gonna have all the, the crown molding and the nice stuff, 38, 9 installed.
Installed.
With an AC, with a central.
Wow.
And I can get $1,000 to $1,100 a month. for
And
that.
Clayton, we find is the best quality.
Yeah, I find Clayton's really, really good quality.
what's your monthly cash flow on these things?
On like a 24 unit, 24 to 30 unit, $6,500 to $8,500 after expenses, after debt. Depending on what breaks. $6,500 to $8,500. On my bigger units, the 40 units and the 30 units. Kyle, what's our cash on that 30 unit we have in Florida?
About 7.
$7 grand after all the expenses, okay. But that's a lower end, that park's in Bonifay, Florida. It's more of it's below working class. It's probably, it's probably a D class area, D plus.
What's IDI costing you to screen?
$1 per screen. You could do a monthly subscription where you pay a certain amount, or you could just do it we just did it per person.
And they come like search your office and make sure to set everything up like that?
TLO does that.
Yeah,
That's what I said.
Who's doing skip, anybody using IDI?
Yeah.
Y'all like IDI better
That's
than?
good.
They've got pretty good data,
Yeah.
We use TLO and they require, like, they do background checks on you and then they come to your office and make sure you're legit and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Does anybody use LexisNexis?
I had LexisNexis, I got rid of it, it was too much, they did the same thing, they wanted, it's like I was trying to get a job at the CIA.
Chris, is Clayton hold the paper on any of these whenever you get the new ones? Zero down or what?
So, I love these questions, y'all keep coming with these questions, because I won't bet, I'm trying to like give you everything, that's a great question. So legacy so a year and a half ago, I bought 15 brand new trailers to haul into some parks. Some went into a park with Kyle, some in Louisiana, and they were doing a special where they hold the note. I only had to put 5% down. So I bought 15 trailers and only had to put 5% down, and they did do you remember what the note was, Kyle? It's a 10-year note?
Yeah,
At 7%? Does that sound right?
it was a little higher.
It's a little higher, 8%, maybe it was 8%. But it's temporary, just to get me, because I only had to put 5% down, versus if I go to my regular, smaller community bank, I'm putting 20% down every trailer.
Right.
So, they did 5% down, I hauled all the trailers in, strapped them down, stabilized it, refinanced, got all my money back.
What do the loans look like on the actual parks? Are you getting interest only? Are you
Yes.
hovering at 3-4%? What kind of loans are you getting?
Yeah,
All
so-
community banks?
Yeah, community bank, so I'm doing interest only. On the rehab, on the value add ones that need work, we're doing interest only for a year.
Yeah.
And we're doing, they're giving me 5% interest right now.
5%.
At a 20-year AM.
Okay.
Which is not, it's not terrible, folks. I mean, I can't get in, like I said, there's a caveat. I can't get institutional money unless I'm doing, you can get institutional money on lot rent. That's another thing I want to tell you. You can get a 30-year note with these big, JP Morgan, Chase, Wells Fargo. You can do a non-recourse on the lot rent. They don't want to hold the trailers. They look at them as like a car. It's not a good asset. So,
Can you finance the trailers?
yeah, I finance the trailers with the smaller community banks. That's what we're about to go into the flow chart of all that. We got smaller community banks, then you're not gonna get the best terms. You're gonna get a 15 to 20 year, try to get a 20. And then you'll get 5% locked in for 5 years. They'll readjust it, prime plus whatever the stock market's doing after 5 years. So,
Can you do a conventional on the lot rent with, like JP Morgan Chase and then finance the mobile homes?
if they're
And actually-
paying, okay, here's, if you wanna try to get institutional money, this is what they're gonna want. They're gonna want paved roads, city sewer and water.
It's very difficult.
Yeah.
They have so many.
And the trailers can't be, I think they can't be older than 5 to 7 years old. So basically, it's gotta almost be a brand new construction mobile home park, which I've looked into doing brand new construction, it doesn't
So
pay.
expensive.
It doesn't, it's so expensive. It's better just to buy, I think, maybe somebody can I think there's like 30,000 mobile home parks about this, that baby boomers own in the United States. Or maybe more, maybe double that, maybe somebody Google it. But they're all owned by like people that are 60 or 70 or older that are all gonna be sold. And make sure you guys remind me when we get to the flow chart too about owner finance. There's a lot of big opportunities done if you want owner finance deals. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I wanna hear more about the developing mobile home parks, what your thoughts are on that. We don't have to dive into it now, but.
Yeah, remind me when we get into the
Yeah.
flow chart. But
You a developer or something?
if I'm gonna develop a mobile home park, it's gonna probably be a senior living. In Florida right now, that is huge.
Yeah.
It's high end, but they're doing super high end, right?
Yes.
It's really, really nice, but I don't have that one. I'm just going after older, distressed, turnout landlords.
Are you putting each one of these in a special purpose entity, or how are you kind of
Yeah,
doing that?
every park's its own LLC. Don't put them all together, because you
You do
get
it
sued in one park.
Delaware, or keeping it in the same state?
Keep it in the same state, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Make sure every park, so instance for our parks, every park we buy is whatever the street name is.
Yeah.
Willow Mobile Home Park, Florida Street Mobile Home Park, Hammock Mobile Home Park, and just its own LLC. Do not bulk them up together. You get sued, they'll go after everything you got. You need layers of protection, that corporate jail.
I started doing Delaware SPDs, and then there'd be licensed to do business in whatever state.
Yeah, that's just
That makes
extra
2
layers.
layers of
2 layers, yep.
They'll never, I don't think it's actually ever been penetrated.
Yeah, I doubt it.
You take ownership, you take your personal name and put it in the ownership in the LLC, though, you don't need to, you don't have your LLC purchasing interest in the LLC that owns the property.
Well, when you do an LLC, everything gets flowed to you personally.
Right.
So I'm signing off on the loan personally. that's the problem too, the caveat of the community bank, you're signing, you're in the hook. It's not non-recourse. They will come after you
Yeah.
if you don't pay. But you put in 20% down. You know, if you're buying, like I'm showing you direct to sell, you have so much equity. I mean, we have to hedge ourselves, folks. Like, I have so much equity. I mean, who knows? I'm gonna get in a bind. I mean, we all business owners, we all get cash flow issues. We all gonna have problems. I could sell off one park right now and make 700,000 and get myself out of a bind, right? So you just need to make sure you got that good equity position and that you can, you know, sell it, get yourself out of bind every now and then.
Yeah, Chris, what are the, like, say you're calling a mobile home park owner, hey, this is Chris, I own a bunch of, you know, mobile home parks around the area, right? What are the top three, like, questions that you're asking the mobile home park owner?
Great question. So I'm asking them city sewer, how old the trailers are. I wanna know, what is the gross income?
Mm-hmm. They're all happening.
Yeah, just like, it's the same thing as
Because most of these guys aren't keeping books. right?
They don't.
Yeah.
So they don't even, they don't even know
Listen,
what their net
okay,
profit.
you're dealing with a less sophisticated investor. And I hate to say that, and I hate to be mean about it, but I'm not gonna, you know, Facebook's watching over here, but I'm not gonna lie to you. You know, which is great for us, right?
Absolutely.
It's great for us. I mean, I want that strategic edge. I don't care. I mean, I'm sure you guys are here to get the best. My job is to get the best deal I can, right? So, with that said, I can capture so much equity. I bought a park for $210,000. I bought a 24-unit Tucson for $210,000. 24 units worth it.
And that was an organic lead of a girl went to school with her dad's
From
park.
Patty posted on social media. Organic lead, right? Finding, right? Best ways, direct mail. Y'all got the list I sent y'all yesterday? Everybody got the list? I mean, the number to get the list, the phone number?
You got the list already for the whole nation or what?
Oh, I just got it this out.
Oh, okay.
Cold call. Patty, we'll do some of that though. Organic, from say social media, and realtors. Right.
What your mail piece was, it's not, you're not sending postcards, you're doing a letter.
Letter, yeah. Hey, this is Chris. We recently bought a mobile home park in your area. We're looking to buy more.
Yeah.
If you're interested, call me back. Like, simple, keep it simple, stupid.
Yeah.
A lot of these park owners are super old and they're not gonna, I mean, don't get you, like I said yesterday, don't get a Filipino, like if you're whoever's the best negotiator that speaks the best in your team should be calling these people. That's the direct mail piece, just very organic, again, Chris, buying mobile. Cold calling, skip trace, or driving for dollars, driving for wheels, I guess you would call it. I bought a park like that, just passing by, like, you gotta start ingraining in your mind, like, everywhere you go, you see trailer parks.
Even our secretaries see trailer parks, or they write it down.
I get people just texting me, taking a picture of a sign,
Yeah.
because they know, that's why I'm always loud, that's what goes back to the brand. People know you buy, I get people from Louisiana inboxing me pictures of a park in South Louisiana somewhere, saying, hey, I'm gonna buy parks, here's a sign, that's all, right? So, really, it's just these four, this is the four things, this is how we got all of our rules.
When you go with realtors, how do you try to structure a, rental owner, you buy on contract? Do you do it through the realtor, and you structure with them, or you go directly then right to the owner? How do you,
No,
which way you do
I don't
it?
want to, if all possible, I don't want to deal with the realtor.
I understand how much you.
But they still bring me really
Yeah.
good deals.
Yes.
So,
Off market.
I don't, if it's on MLS, I wouldn't mess with it. I mean, I'm not saying, it's not a be all, do all that I wouldn't buy it, but it's, your chances of buying a good deal in MLS are slim to none. Because as soon as it goes in MLS, all your freshman buyers, remember we talked about freshmen to senior, the people that will pay a premium, your doctors, attorneys, they're gonna jump in there. I lost a deal. Remember when we lost across the street from the high school, I went to Charlie, the one we lost, he paid
Oh, yeah.
he paid like a super premium.
Yeah.
Like he's gonna, after debt, he's gonna cash flow on a 70-unit lot rent park, he'll probably cash flow $1,000. Because he drove up the price so much, like retarded, right? So that's what I'm saying, that's the problem when it goes on MLS. And people will pay that, because they look at, I don't care, I'll just park money there and it's my retirement in 20 years. I want cash flow now, I don't wanna wait that long. But realtors have been a really good source, but the last park I bought was a realtor, and I got 4 awesome parks I'm gonna look at when I get back, because Ladder and Bloom skip trace my name, or they pulled who bought parks in Louisiana, and they cold called me and said, hey, I got a bunch of parks, I can't sell these to hedge fund money, because we've been selling all these parks, they don't wanna mess with it, so, and they're great parks, they send me pictures, vinyl sided, only 10 years old. So network with all the realtors, but when you're talking to them, tell them, hey, if I'm gonna be your guy, like, I'm your guy. Do not call me and try to put me up against somebody else and make us go back and forth. If I deal with you, you send me the deal first, and you give me first opportunity on everything.
So what do you give for them, is what I'm saying, what's your negotiation with them, do you give them a finder's fee or anything?
They're gonna get paid their 6%.
Okay, that's what I was asking.
Yeah, 3 or 6%.
Even if it's off market, they still have their
Yeah.
percentage they make.
Yeah.
And even if you buy on contract, we build that in? You
What?
have to pay them, if you buy, so you
Seller.
negotiate on contract with the owner, okay, you have no money down on a contract, you still have to pay that 6% probably to them, is what you negotiate with them, right?
No, if they're not in the middle, like, if it's direct to seller, if it's these 3 here, mail,
Right.
well, I'm not paying a realtor's fee.
Seller pays the real.
Yeah, seller. But if I'm dealing with realtor, yeah, the realtor is gonna get paid from the seller. So you don't, yeah, you don't have to worry about it. But that's the 4, that's gonna be your 4 best ways. So we're clear on that? So everybody needs to pull a list, start mailing, start cold calling, and understand, once you do that, the follow-up game is crucial. And it's funny, what did I tell you yesterday, before Coach Bird came, I said I'm touching him 12 to 15 times, and he said this, didn't he say the same? It was like, and I don't know what he's gonna say, that's just what I've tracked. It's 12 to 15 times I'm touching these people. So get that in your head right now, you're just going no, to get to that yes, like, it's just how it is.
I find you, Chris, when you talk to them, like, you want to try to be relatable, because these people were, like, you're what they were when they were younger,
Yes,
so
and
they
they
try to
appreciate-
relate to you, and they like that you're a young hustler trying to, get in
That is
where
so
they're
good.
at, and so they like you.
They appreciate
Yes.
another hustler. They appreciate that. In the follow-up game, they're like, man, dude, I like you, Rood, you freaking hustler, dude.
We
You're
go
just like
together.
me when I was 50
Yeah.
years ago.
We go together, we tell them we have 5 kids,
I know,
like, we
and I-
just
yeah, like,
give them the
I
whole
bring-
spiel.
Dude, she's my secret weapon. Make her, put on a little short skirt or something. Beautiful wife,
That's
my
nice.
5 kids, and look, and I need, look, I got 5 kids, man. Come on, man. I need a wife. That's a fucking Range Rover she buys. But that's the little tactical things unfortunately, I'm being. I
They
do this.
remember you though, in the follow-up.
And they remember me, and I want to imprint into their mind. So 12 to 15 times has been what I've actually tracked over a 3. This is 3 to what's a year and 15 months. Has been how long the average span of all the 8 parks I bought has been 3 to 15 months. The best deal I bought took 15 months.
Isn't that pace one on 15 months now?
Oh, pace, yeah, well, that one's longer now, huh? That one's gonna be long by the time, we got one in, don't give all our secrets away. We got people in here in Florida gonna try to go up for our deals, guys.
I'm good.
What's your name?
Yeah, what's our
That's the name of your address? But yeah, that one's gonna be probably about 18 months, and I touch them. That's my front end job. I do that. I'm lead acquisition for the mobile home parks, right? So do that, and then finally, it's all timing, right? It's just timing. Like the really good one I bought for $2.5 million, it's 40 unit, phenomenal area. Average rent in there is $1,000 to $1,200, and it's all brand new trailers. Bought it at a 13.2 cap. So. But I hit him with a direct mail piece. He's like, man, I get these letters all the time, but yours looks, handwritten, which makes sure you get the guy that make it look handwritten, or just handwriting. It's not a big list. And he says no. At first I went over there. I talked to him. They give you some absorber, and I paid 2.3 for it. He wanted 2.8 for it when I first started talking to him. And then as I kept following up with him, I called him well, a year and 3 months later for about the 15th time, and his wife was leaving. You see what I'm saying? And he needed to break it up. So so it's just timing. If you guys are wholesaling and just doing direct mail, it's timing, no different.
It sounds the same as like any other sales follow-up process.
It's no different.
Real life stuff. What are some common objections though that you get that might be different from like a single family seller?
A different objection.
Like different sorts of objections?
Well, I mean, these people are more sophisticated, first of all.
Yeah, they're somewhat more sophisticated sometimes. I'm just looking for pain. I'm looking for problems. Problems equals motivation equals a deal. And I'm probing for problems. You know, and I'm going to look at the park. If I know it's distressed, look at it. You got trash all over the place. You got, girls walking around half naked, look like they're on crystal meth. Like, you got some issues in that park, and I know there's a problem, right? And I'm going to exploit that. I'm going to get them. Now, there is a time where you may want to stop. If they tell you, like, dude, I'm never selling this park. You gotta use your good judgment. You may get some people that say, yeah, I'm never gonna sell this park because it's been in my family 20 years, it's in great shape. You're wasting time. I'm not gonna get that person. I'm looking for not right now, maybe in a couple of years, and that's the ones I'm gonna keep hitting.
Sure.
All right. So we got the deal. We got it under contract. Right? Due diligence, right? So what I'm gonna do, what are we looking for? First thing we're gonna do is what? Call the what? The city. Make sure that you can haul in new trailers when the old trailers are bad, or if you can't haul in new trailers, what is the ordinance on that? Is it gotta be a certain year model? Call city. Then, city sewer and water, find that out. Rent roll and expenses.
If it does have their own septic tank, you need to get all the details on when they service that.
Yeah.
Because that's a pricey upcharge.
Well, when you go to switch it over to your name, if you that's a single family, never mind. But then I want to know, okay, this is what I'm looking for too when I'm evaluating these things. I'm looking for uncaptured appreciated rents over time. That's the biggest thing I'm really looking for. Where's the rent now? Where can it go? Is it at the top of the market? Is it below? I just bought a 30 unit in freaking Denham Springs. The rents are he's got the rents at $500 a month. The average rent in there is $900 to $1,000. That's the one I paid $750 to appraise 1.8. That shows you how much. So that's what I'm looking for.
Called loss to lease too.
Yeah. I make up names as I go. Like I'm from South Louisiana. They don't do this.
It's great.
Would you just look at neighboring parks?
Yep. Neighboring parks. Call some smaller, lower end single family homes. That'll count you on some single family homes that are like, some older houses, not nice new construction.
Was that the rent?
What's that?
Rent rolls.
Rent roll and expense. That should probably have Big Mama right now. That's all. Uncaptured appreciated rents. Can I take the rent up so I can force appreciation, get that new value, refinance, and pull my money back out? All right. Condition of trailers. Right?
Doing inspections on all the trailers, like you do
Yeah.
inspections on all the trailers.
Yeah, go walk all the trailers, just so you know what you're getting yourself into. Typically, you're gonna get $5,000 to $10,000 as far if they're destroyed. It's gonna cost you $5,000 to $10,000. $10,000 would be the absolute max. That's what's gonna,
What's the percentage of you getting access to tenants, or like the park owner allowing you access, as far as like disturbing the tenants or them wanting to
that's
sell?
what I was trying next.
Okay.
Go talk to tenants. They will give you all the scoop of why that park is being sold. Let's say, well, the owner doesn't fix anything anymore, because why, he's going to turn out money, or something's going on financially. and-
Easy to
Because you,
motivate.
yeah, it's motivated sellers lie, folks. They lie.
You get the motivation from them.
You go to the tenants, go talk to the tenants, hey, what's happening, but most of the time they don't, I don't tell them I'm buying the park, because the owner didn't want, but you tell them your insurance agent, same thing we do with wholesale, right?
Yeah.
We're going- I'm insurance agent here, or I'm a contractor here to look and see, what needs to be done. Yeah, anything wrong with the trailer? Go ask every one of the tenants, hey, anything wrong? I'm here for the insurance, I'm trying to get an overall view of what's wrong. Oh, yeah, that damn owner, that's been leaking over there for 6 months. AC's been making noise, I got a plumbing issue, like, and then that if he's not fixing that, then there you gotta motivate yourself, right? And that knows, then you know, so I don't have, like, let me tell you guys a piece of information that'll help you. This ARV minus 30% repair value, like always making an offer like that, dude, I don't make an offer based off of repairs, based off of the ARV. Guess how I'll make my offer? Motivation. Do you think I'm gonna offer somebody who I know is not paying the bank or is a distressed mobile home park, who's got a bunch of issues, 70% minus ARV, all that stupid shit the gurus are telling you to do on you're losing so much equity, you gotta find their bottom. So if you know they're motivated, hit them really low. I make my offer based off of motivation. And a lot of you guys that are wholesaling probably already know that.
Are you doing HVACs or wall units or anything?
Okay, fantastic. So if it's gonna be a 80 to say a 2000 model,
Yeah.
just put window units. I can get 2 window units, 2 to 3 window units from Home Depot with the AC and the heat for $450 a piece. So I'm all in at $1,500 for AC, and I'm good. That's gonna last probably 5 to 7 years if you change an outlet filter.
Have you found rent differences between the two? You know, units versus?
I haven't. If people have said, well, you gotta put central in and you'll get more AC, get more rent, I have not seen a difference.
No, you don't.
I think that's a myth. I think that's what the gurus are telling me.
We just send them filters every month.
We just started doing that because they're not gonna change the filter. Yeah, we're starting to walk the parks. We got so many rehabs going right now, it's been hard to, really get them to do the AC thing, but you need to get the maintenance guy, or just send them a letter, hey, look, we're gonna come and walk the park on this day to make sure you change the air filters, make sure you change it. And if you send that letter, they probably just, they'll hurry and change it, and you don't have to walk the park and trick them, because otherwise they won't change it.
We do the first of every month, just walk,
Yeah.
but change the filters the first of every month, they just know to expect that.
On Central, or you got apartments?
Yeah, in apartments.
Chris, are you guys planning to put HUD or Section 8 tenants in there?
No, I don't want to mess with Section 8. Kyle can tell you too, at other park and not in my other parks in Louisiana, my management, like Section 8 tenants, I don't want to mess with. It's always a problem. They don't take, it's government housing. It's
Guaranteed rent though.
It's guaranteed rent, but
They'll file complaints against you.
Oh, really?
we're being sued right now with one of our parks right now because they're just, you gotta think about it. Somebody that's getting free rent, they destroy the trailer.
Mm.
And then, Section 8 pays, say, $750, and you're supposed to collect the other $150 from them. They don't ever pay you because they just want everything for free. And they just, the long-term,
The mindset of them are just different.
Yeah.
and I've had it. I've had the Section 8, half of my park was Section 8. Jan, my manager over there, CFO, she said that I don't want to deal with him. Like, let's just get credit paying, and it's been easier. So that's been my experience. You may talk to another guy that's got a bunch of Section 8, he loves it. I'm just telling you what we went through, and even in Louisiana and in Florida.
They turn over quicker too.
And they turn over quicker, yeah. They bounce around.
They're
So,
unstable.
once you get your LOI accepted, when you go do your due diligence period, how often are you like renegotiating on these sides?
I'll put them in a contract for 90 to 120 days.
And do you put, when does your earnings go hard?
You want to know honest and God truth?
Yeah, no earnest money.
It
I'm
does.
not putting earnest money.
Oh.
This is why this is so niche.
Mm-hmm. Multifamily.
You can't get away with that.
No.
I'm buying $1 million to $3 million deals, and I'm not putting any money down. Where can you get away with this in real estate? Nowhere. Have you ever not put any earnest money down on your apartments?
No, I just had $100,000 earnest money go hard.
Yep.
A week ago, it sucks.
Yep.
How are you pitching the owner on that? You just don't rent
I just don't even talk about it, and I signed a contract with no earnest money, and he signs it.
There you go.
Well, do you think, like, since you're known as the authority on this, that maybe they don't have another option to go to? You're the only one calling them.
Yeah.
Or very few.
Or-
Well, and you do explain, sometimes if they ask, you do explain the
Okay,
why.
good point, Big Mama. Okay, so I just say, look, we buy 15, 20 properties a month. So if I had earnest money down on every property, I'd constantly run a cash flow problem. And that's my,
Yeah, and
and
it's
it
true,
works, and it's true. Imagine if I had, I've constantly got 1 or 2 parks under contract, and I've constantly got, 15, 20 wholesale flips going at any given time. If I had, money, and when you explain that, it gives them an understanding that, okay, that makes sense, right? But I'm building up rapport in the front and say, look, give me just, like, all I really need, give me 2 to 4 weeks, I'll give you a yes or no on this deal. I'm not gonna hold this thing up for that long.
Guys, real quick, what you just said, the deposit thing, like, even for me, that's gold, like,
Yeah.
that's worth the whole weekend. The second thing I wanted to ask was, what is your typical turnaround time for the rehab work per unit? Like, if you're full gut, what does it take?
It depends if your staff's on crystal meth. So, that's another math, not no.
Does that mean they work faster when they're on meth, or?
Yeah,
They would work nights.
Chris only worked good from 9 o'clock at night to 9 in the morning. I got a day job, Chris. Okay, so typically, I just gutted and rehabbed a whole thing to the studs in Gonzales, and it took about 30 days. But it
But
shouldn't,
we also
because
driving back and forth too.
they're driving back
Yeah.
and forth from Lafayette, and we're getting more maintenance crews in the Baton Rouge area, but if it's a total gut, sheetrock, everything is gonna be probably 30 days. With crystal meth addicts, with non-crystal meth addicts, probably you'll save a week. Right? That's just how it is. I'm telling you, you wanna know which one to hear, which one to hear. This is just not, this is what you're dealing with, folks.
So have you, one of the things we started doing, which helped a lot, is you tested for meth in some of these to get a lower price.
On the
actual
units.
no, this is my workers, they work for me.
No, that's what I'm saying, but I have started testing for meth, and then when it comes back positive, I go back to the owner and drop the price hard and say, hey, nobody's gonna buy this.
You want the air quality then?
Oh.
You talking about the
Oh, you
tenants.
talking,
I'm
yeah.
talking about before you buy it, before you buy
I've never thought about that, but that's a
And
good
due
idea, to
diligence
write that down, folks. I mean,
Yeah, that's gold
a
right
good
there.
Negotiation, hey, dude, you got meth all over you.
I got it. So I tested for meth in a $300,000 neighborhood, bitch tested positive, I dropped the
Wow.
price on him $100,000 and he's like.
How much is it to test?
Yeah.
It's like, I think we paid $1,100 and I got $100,000 in equity because of the deal.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Damn.
So if you're not testing for meth on every trailer park or every deal that you like perceive it probably is gonna happen, you
Yeah,
should be.
that's a good
You
idea.
perceived it on that $300,000 deal?
We did because the son was a drug addict.
Oh, okay.
Okay, but we have to test every trailer, but I mean, you just test.
But you're gonna see the signs.
You're gonna have to
If
Yeah.
you see signs of that and you test, like then
Yeah, and
go
that's
back to
just,
the owner.
and that's just another negotiation tactic you guys can add to your arsenal to drive that price down.
When's the last time you tested for meth, sir?
Just ask them straight out.
Yeah, like it's normal for
Talk to the tenants. If you're dealing. You go straight in with the septic,
Like there's some signs, like if people have like,
time you started this septic?
there's signs of meth, like you have
Foil in
booby
the
traps and stuff like that where people get,
Yep.
you can tell when it's the
And
trailers.
if you guys are confused on what to make your offer, this is just a good rule of thumb. If you, for instance, on that one, that was a really good deal. I bought it, it had 5,300 of rent at the time. And I give them 50, I'll offer them 50% of what this is, so my offer was 210 the other side. Actually, I hit him lower than that, but he came up to 210, I hit him 180. Does that make sense, just as a rule, because it's hard, sometimes it's hard to evaluate these things, right? I usually do 50% of the rent, so if my rent.
Actual rent?
Yeah, if the rent's, say the rent's $10,000 a month, I'm gonna probably try to get it at $500,000, just to start. But if it's really destroyed, I'll go a little bit lower, maybe 35–40%, right? And then if it's in phenomenal shape, I'll usually give them like 60%. See, the one we're looking at right now in the bar, once it's getting 14,000, it's in great shape. My maximum allowable offer in that deal because it's a great area and the trailer's in great shape. I'll offer them 850,000. And I really don't even wanna offer him that, but it's such a good area, right?
On the current rents or your projected?
No, current rents, he's getting 14,500 a month. And I'm offering him, I'm gonna offer him 850, which I wanted to get 750, but he ain't gonna, he's not gonna take it, he wants $1 million. But just, I'm trying to give you some perspective, because there is no exact formula on making these offers, like you just gotta understand what you're looking at. But typically half the rents.
Is your expense ratio about the same as multifamily, like 35–45%?
No, it's a little bit, it's probably 10% less than that, because you gotta realize, if they trash my trailer, everything's so much cheaper, right? You could go and, you put the floors, you patch a hole, and you put a roof, and then my AC units are $1,500. I mean, an apartment, you got the roof, you got the central air, which is what do you get in central air for, 6,500, 6,000?
For a new unit?
Yeah, new unit, inside out.
$5 grand.
$5 grand, wow, okay, that's good.
For a new unit.
Yeah. So it just shows you, it's, and that lasts you 10 years, but then, dude, every time, the problem with Central is that every time you have a problem,
Got coils and
it's
stuff.
$350 here, $650 there, so they eat you alive on repairs on central air. That's why I like to have the window units.
So you do window units in all of them, even the new ones?
The new ones, when I'm buying new, they come with the central air, and we just wear that thing out, and then in 10 years we slap in the window units. Right?
You say they come with heat too? Yeah.
Yeah, look it up at Home Depot. I forgot how many BTUs, I think that's my secretary, but it's heat and air. If it's a 3-2, we usually put 3 to 4 in there. If it's a 2-2, we usually put 2 to 3. Right?
Have you looked at any of the like split systems, the Mitsubishi,
Somebody, no, I have not, but somebody mentioned to me, I wanna look into that. It's called, it's a split system.
Yeah.
Somebody had mentioned that to me, but I haven't.
They're half the cost of HVAC, they're probably a little bit more than window units, but they're heat and air, they act like an HVAC, they're really
Yeah.
efficient.
No ductwork.
Yeah, repair costs on your roofs, just go ahead and put metal roofs when you get your 1,500 for a single wide is roughly what it's gonna cost you. If you have your own crew, it's probably gonna be $2,000 if you're getting a roofing company to do it. You're gonna save about $500.
How are you sourcing this Freedom model? That's the one you're buying?
That's what I'm buying, yep. 38.9 installed. Now, right now with COVID, it's not, it went up, they don't even have, it's 42, 43 right now, but he said after the first, it'll go back down. All the supply lines that were messed up from COVID. So they, supply and demand, the price went up.
Where are those manufactured?
Clayton,
Clayton's got a
Manufactured in
manufacturer.
Knoxville.
And just so you know, Warren Buffett bought Clayton Homes a few years ago for $3.2 billion, if it tells you anywhere about where the money's going, so.
And Blackstone just invested $500 million to buy a park across the country.
So, real quick, touch on what you guys just said, so you're buying new?
Yeah, so if I'm in a good area,
Yeah.
like Denham Springs, I just bought a 30 unit, I'm hauling out 9 as we speak right now.
Yeah.
And I don't wanna take out all of them, I'm taking out 9 trailers that I just don't wanna rehab because they're so old and messed up and they're already vacated. We just put them on Facebook Messenger or Facebook Marketplace, and you have people come pick them up, yeah, I'll take it for free. Or you can sell them for 2 to 5, and they'll haul them off for you, and it's no cost. I'm glad you brought that up. So once they haul them off, we've already ordered, put my deposit down, they
Yeah.
ordered 9 brand new ones, they're gonna come install them, drop them off.
Do you ever buy, existing ones, like?
Yeah, so through my wholesaling business, the pipeline, we get trailers that leads, who gets trailer leads? Okay, so if you buy mobile home parks, keep those leads. I mean, dude, I'm buying a 2016 Clayton 16 by 8, 3.2, she paid $65,000 for it 2 years ago, I'm buying it for $16 grand.
And it's nice.
And it's nice,
It's
yeah.
really good.
I got a contract Thursday, 16 grand, it's gonna cost me $2,500 to move it to the park. Another $2,500 to set up for the plumbing, pad, and hook up the poles, so what is that, 16 plus 5, that's 21, I'll get $1,100 for that. So, and I'm all in at 25,000, getting 1,100. That's the cash flow ridiculous. Now, I can't get enough of those fast enough to fill up a park.
Right.
Because you just don't get enough motivated sellers with trailers. So, but I get at least 1 per month. 1 trailer, typically I get out of absolute steal per month, and I just fill the gap in with brand new trailers.
Chris, you did put like an ad, like we buy used trailers or whatever.
Yeah, you can run Facebook ads, we buy used mobile homes, you can try that.
Signs, bandit signs.
Bandit signs, we buy used mobile homes, you can do, just Facebook, go on these mobile home apps.
Put signs by other trailer parks that
Yeah.
are lot rent.
Go put a bandit signs by other trailer parks that are doing lot rents too. Yeah, that's a good idea. All right.
How do you know the trailer park's doing just lot rent?
How do you know? You just call them, ask them, you call them. They don't have it on the sign, like we, whatever the.
Well, sometimes they do that. Sometimes they have all the
It's like you can buy a list, right? You can't buy a list and see if it's a lot rent or not.
They're distinguished.
Do you have to pull a permit from the city to move a trailer, or the mover does that?
Yes, some cities do, some cities don't. If you have to ask, you have to call your local city.
But the movers handle all that.
No.
They won't do it.
Well, I'm not saying they won't, that's usually the girls at the office are doing it. Well, that's a good question. It depends on the city and, I don't know.
Every time I move the trailer, the moving company handles it.
Maybe they do, maybe they do.
I just pay them.
Yeah, maybe they do it. I don't really know, maybe I should find out. I'm not in it, here's the thing about this business, I'm really not in, this business right here is really, really passive for me in the sense that I don't mess with it.
Jan's the boss, basically.
Jan and 3 girls run I'm acquisitions, I get the deal and I get the loan, I sign, I sign, and I don't even know what's going on after that. I couldn't even tell, so you have to forgive me on the real deep in depth. I don't know that I can find out without texting my phone. Okay, anything else we missed on due diligence? Just looking for motivation, looking for a really good deal. Want to buy it for 50% of whatever the rents are, if it's a distressed park.
Well, and if it has its own sewer system, you're gonna have to do a lot more due diligence on the upkeep.
Yep.
What about well?
Well, water.
Yeah, instead of city.
Do we have a well? Is it a well at the one in?
No,
No,
city.
it's city. I don't think I have any wells.
They're pretty popular in Florida, well water. Subject.
Tennessee too.
Yeah. If it's well, I mean, I think it's good for you, you don't have a water bill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the maintenance on all
Okay,
those.
so this is what you need to find out too, so
Yeah.
some parks, the owners, I don't know why, some parks, these owners are paying for the water bill, I don't do any of that, like, we buy and say, dude, I'm not paying your water no more, like, you can pay your own water, like,
So
it's
like
not
the
sub-meter?
one I have is 1 meter though.
Yeah.
Can you sub-meter?
you can bill less money, so I have a park right now in Lafayette that we have to freaking walk each individual trailer every month, the girls do, and the kilometers, whatever, the electricity. And we're redoing each pole individually. So that's something you need to find out too, that like.
Well, one guy we talked to, he pays a certain amount, anything over, they have to pay if they use that much electricity.
Well, it's weird, every park's different.
Yeah.
Some people, the owners pay the water, some, the tenants pay the water, you gotta find all that out. Find out about electrical,
Yeah.
water.
How I did it in my apartment is we put in, we said, hey, if there's so many adults living in each unit, then we're gonna charge this much per adult for water, trash, and sewer. Or you can do a rub system, but you gotta pay to have those installed, it just installs a meter on the flow to each trailer, or
Yeah.
each unit.
That's
And then I'll
good.
say, hey, this is how much water you actually use, and that costs $5 to $7 grand to get installed for the entire complex, depending on the size of it.
For the entire complex?
Yeah, they're literally just putting sensors on the pipes, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they're saying, all right, you use this much, it'll automatically bill it back.
Yeah.
How much do you charge per adult?
Say again?
Like if there's an extra adult, how much do you charge for the adult?
I'd have to fucking check.
I got you.
That's how we broke it down.
So we were wanting to do that at ours, but they were, I forget the reason that they wouldn't allow us to do it.
So the rub systems, it's gotta be over, I think, 25 or 50 units. They have a threshold before they'll even come out to do it.
Meters.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I guess there, yeah, for the rubs, there were different types of ways we could do it. Yeah, I think it's because they only
What's what I'm
had
paying for on interest rates right now?
two main lines that went into the buildings, and that's it, they didn't have a main line.
Finance, right, okay.
5%, 3, 4, 3, 6.
I want to park, right now I'm on finance, it's 7% interest only. Yeah, that's the beautiful thing about it, which we'll get into. I'm gonna get into, I'm gonna go regular debt, then we'll do on finance debt next. Okay, so we did all do, I don't think I'm missing anything, I may miss 1 or 2 things here, but you just make sure you figure out what all, it's the same thing with apartments, single family, what's your expenses? You know, make sure you got all the unknowables, right? Does the tenants pay the water, you know, who's paying the electricity bill? You doing lease audits? Is that, are you doing lease audits with current tenants? Yeah, we find out, we wanna run like, hey, what have you collected the past, 6 months?
Yeah.
Because a lot of them gonna lie, and, like, I need bank statements showing what you collected.
You need some really good insurance too, if you're around hurricanes.
Yes. And flood
More of
zones.
us.
I don't
Yes.
typically like to buy in flood, I do own 2 parks in flood zones, because I got them so cheap, but if it's in a flood zone, beat them down on the price, because flood insurance, is pretty expensive.
And you have to lift all the AC units, everything like that.
Yeah, to do it, you have to do an elevation certificate, and they're gonna measure it at the bottom of the central, not the bottom of the things, that's why we get rid of the central. And we put the window unit so that our elevation is a lot higher, and we don't have to pay as much flood insurance.
Is that skirt as well, like 12 inches or 24 from the
Yeah, it's
ground?
like 2 foot off the ground,
Yeah.
they don't, they'll do it from the bottom of where the wood starts, the frame. But if not, if you central is on the ground, they're gonna mess with that, that's your elevation, and it's $1,000 a unit, like, oh no, we're gonna, so we go and we lift the AC even with the bottom of the trailer. And that'll get you out of that flood zone. and that-
Slap in the kitchen.
Yeah, yeah.
When you
That's what I like about it, there's so much things you can do with these they're so modular,
Just
it's not like
looking at
an
cement blocks.
apartment, it's just a big bulky brick on slab, it's fixed. I can do all kind of stuff with these trailers, to make it work. Alright, so we're ready for debt? Okay.
One more question.
Yep.
When you demobilize a trailer, what constitutes a permanent foundation? Just it being on blocks and like having your tie downs, or do you gotta have like a base of gravel?
So what they're doing is they're taking off the wheels and they're cutting the tongue.
That's it.
Or, yeah, disconnecting the tongue, sliding underneath, unbolt your wheels and it's immobilized and it's bolted down to the ground. And they call it, did anybody understand what demobilization? Yeah, basically, this, a trailer is like a title of a car.
Removable.
It's yeah, so you basically have to, when you go to get debt. Yeah, you go to the DMV, it's not like buying real estate, so what happens when you're trying to get debt with these community banks is you're going to have to, they're gonna want to demobilize, right? Or immobilize, whatever the word is.
We call it making
They want the VIN number and they want to make it a part of the real estate.
Part
In
of the-
Texas, we call it making it real property.
Making
Yeah.
it- What do they call it in Florida?
It's personal,
Same thing, it's real property.
personal
so
property to real property for us.
If it becomes real property in Florida, they'll put a real property sticker on the very front, like right by the tongue.
Oh.
So that's something, like whenever we're wholesaling, I have to train my guys, hey, we've got a real
Stick it
property
there.
sticker.
A HUD label or a seal.
It's got literally a fucking state of Florida, hey, real property, it says real property. That means it's attached to the land and it's no longer a vehicle.
They don't do that in
I mean,
Louisiana.
that's called immobilization, they maybe
Yeah.
call
We
something
don't
different in
have
Tennessee,
stickers
they call
I
something
know what
different in
route to
Tennessee.
take.
And there's a,
Wholesale one
There's a
trailer
sticker.
down.
It's
Real
a
property.
department
Yeah, it's real property, okay, so I don't know why, we got parishes and shit, you know, we said like the whole state as a whole, everything's different. Back gas, raw fish, alright, here we go. Debt. So if you're doing what I'm doing, you're owning the trailers, you're wasting time going to JP Morgan, Chase, Goldman Sachs, Wells Fargo, forget that. Don't even try to mess with it. I'm dealing with all community banks. What is a community bank? It's a small local bank. They're not nationwide, they're usually just in a city. Or credit unions. The first deal you do is going to be tough if you don't have any real estate experience. It's going to be easier for you to get a loan if you have real estate experience. If you're already in the game real estate, they're going to look at you, okay.
what does
here's-
that conversation look like, Chris?
So that conversation goes, hey, Mr. Banker, I've got this, and it's better to go to a bank that you've already maybe used it to buy a single family home where there's already an established relationship. Otherwise, it's a long process of getting set up because they want your financials. They take it to the committee, they all talk about you now. They're gonna pull you up on social media, you better realize they're gonna pull you up and look at you, see what you're doing on social media. If you posting you at the titty bar and, hit the big line and. Probably not gonna get fined.
They're seeing
This
it.
is like are you doing something unethical? They literally do that, like.
It's a lot more personal relationship.
It's a personal relationship, they wanna know who you are as an individual, not they don't bank, this is my bank, all my bankers tell me is, Chris, we don't lend to your business, we lend in Chris Rood.
Yeah.
We wanna know what kind of person are you, right? And even somebody on the committee, one of the banks, I'm not gonna say because a banker watching this, but one banker said he's the #1 wholesale coach in the country, he's full of shit.
I think that,
Yeah.
you have to tell me that, right?
Yeah, so,
mean, you might be.
but it told me that they went and watched my lives, right? So be careful, like that's how deep they're gonna go with the relationship, so try to look professional and look like you got some sense, right? Now, go ahead, but.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, for talking to them, something I found locally around here is you can negotiate with them and say, hey, look, I'll move my operating accounts to you, right? Because they want to use they want that cash on hand.
That's
Yeah, say, hey, look, this asset, I'll have all the money flow through you guys, we'll hold it here, we'll keep our reserve in here, blah, 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 and they're gonna be like, yeah, and they'll often use that as a negotiation in the loan. They say, hey, I can move your operating account here, so.
Yes, that's a great point. Tell them that you're gonna give them, they're gonna ask for it anyway, but say, hey, look, I'll even use you for some other stuff, right?
Right, park some cash over there so you guys
Yes.
can lend it out, that's why.
Yeah, so what I do is like I'll take one part that I already banked with it, and after I told them I'd use them, and I'll just start a separate account with them, and you start moving stuff. You just flow in through the bank system. They just want your
Scratch
money.
that, yeah.
Yeah, just flow your money through them, so, and that looks good. They're gonna make sure you got a good credit score. I mean, if you guys don't have good credit, then you just need to get a sponsor. I can help you sponsor your loan if you find a deal and you don't have good credit.
They want tax returns.
Tax returns. Strong, yeah, well. You
Look,
don't have to make $1 million a year. You probably should, you make $100,000 a year, right? If it's not that big of a park. There's a formula, I don't know that formula, debt to income, all the stuff the bankers do.
Yeah.
But if you buy your first park's a $500,000 deal, you could probably, so you make 75, 80 grand a year, you could probably, as long as you got the 20%, that's what they're looking for, the 20%. You could probably show you only make 50 grand a year because there's no risk. But the higher the net worth you get and the more stabilized you get, you can start doing these deals with no money down, like I'm, right? I'm just not, because they trust me. Yeah, I mean, everybody got enough equity, or they're cross-collateralized. You guys know what that means? They'll take equity out of the other part and move it to there, where some of these deals I'm putting zero money down, no money into it. But your first deal, just be prepared, 20% down, maybe even ask 30, they may ask 30. The more risk you are, the more they're gonna ask for down, and the higher they're gonna go on your interest rate. But get that first deal done, season it, rehab it, stabilize it, show them, and then you're golden at that, and now you can start scaling like I have, right? It was tough, I mean, the first.
One deal.
One deal.
And then you're.
You got a track record. They're looking for a track record, right? It's a risk to go and just, hey, look, it's mobile home park.
Yeah.
Because it's not a lot of, they want collateral. That's what banks look at. The trailers are not worth a whole lot, right? But they do like, and like, here's another thing. You may have to talk to 4 to 5 community banks before you get that yes. When I first started, I talked to 3. The first 3 said no, and then the next said, oh, we love those. It's really just like that. I just found another bank said they love them, and they finance them like within 25 days, like, dude, we love mobile home parks. So every community bank is different in a sense of what their taste for debt is and what they like.
Anything you're doing to vet the community banks, whether or not they're even have an appetite for this type of asset first, you just call them?
I call them, just say, hey, are you interested in mobile home parks?
Interested in financing?
Yeah. Anyway, let me get back with you. I'll ask my VP.
Yeah.
And they say, well, maybe, and then it brings it to me.
But there's no list of just like known banks that finance them, you just gotta call.
You gotta call, yeah, because there's not a whole lot of people, most of the mobile home parks in America are paid off cash right now. They're so old, there's not a whole lot of debt on parks right now.
Yeah.
Really?
No, they're all baby boomers got them. Does anybody Google how many parks are in America right now? If somebody can do that, great. I think it's 60,000, 30,000.
And they're paid off cash.
What the baby boomers have. They've been having them
They've had them for 50 years.
30, 50 years. They're all paid off, so there's not a whole lot of track record on debt, like there is apartments where everybody's got apartments financed. Does that make sense?
Have you found any banks that'll work off of the loan to value versus loan to cost?
Yes, but they're all different. But your financials are gonna have to be a little bit stronger.
Right.
I'm able to do that, loan to value, because my statements are strong, I have a net worth, I'm making money. But if you're just getting started, you're a W-2 employee in here, you're not a professional real estate investor, they want 20% down.
LPC, yeah.
153,000 mobile home parks in America.
I was off by double.
What if you're not,
153,000 mobile home parks in America.
what if you're not a W-2 employee and you're producing $200-300 grand a month, gross income?
Are you showing that?
Entrepreneur.
Are you showing that on
You
your
could say
taxes?
that, you could not on taxes.
Yeah.
Are you showing that on your taxes?
I am this year.
Are you hiding cash?
I am this year. I'm not
Okay,
gonna
but
next
you
year.
stop doing that, man, it's gonna hurt you. Well, I say stop, I'm not gonna tell you what to do with your business, I'm just telling you.
Yeah, I know.
You're not gonna better get a loan if you're making $1 million a year, but you're showing you made 35,000. Right?
They want it on.
4,900.
You gotta have the
4,900 in Florida.
There's no stated loans.
So, in your case, then you need to get a sponsor. You need to get somebody that's a sign on the debt. I can do that for you.
Nice.
So, and by the way, every one of you guys, I want to partner up with you guys. So this is why you paid me to show you. I want to help. I want to scale. All right. So, for instance, if I want to scale, we'd say Nick. He's got a deal in,
Texas,
yeah, whatever. Houston, Dallas, wherever. Arkansas. He calls you Chris. can you help me with this first deal? It's gonna probably take me a little while I'm gonna have to go drive up there, shake their hands, give them my financials, hey, look at my portfolio. I'll bring it to the committee, say, yeah, this looks good, we'll probably want 20-30% down, look, no problem, I can do it. But it's gonna take probably 45 days to maybe even 60 before they say, okay, let's roll. And then from there, we start the loan process, another 30 days to get the loan. So that first initial loan, getting a mobile home park is gonna maybe 90 days when you have no relationship, when you're going out of state.
To make sure you get a lot of time on the contract.
Yes. Yeah.
At least 90 days?
Yeah, at least 90 days. And then it's not an absolute, it may be quick, they may be able to call you and say, hey, just send me your financials. And I've seen it both ways. I've emailed all the financials and literally 3 days later say, hey, yeah, we'll do this deal.
Like most business loans, they're used to having long due diligence. I mean, that's just part of it.
Yeah, you buy an apartment, you know, when you buy it, 120.
45. Or it's 45 due diligence, 45.
But, and look, go meet your banker, you know, they're looking for somebody they can trust and just go shake their hand, go take them to lunch and your banker is gonna be your biggest cheerleader. So you better build a good relationship because he's going for you as a representative on your behalf to convince the committee board that you need to do this deal with Chris Rood, or you need to do this deal with Nick, you need to do this deal, right? So you better, don't piss off the guy, he's your quarterback.
What qualifies mobile home park? Quantity?
I don't know.
Good question.
I don't know.
I mean, I know you're not looking at them for like till 24 units or whatever, but is there a certain classification, like the banks will look at it and be like, no, we're not loaning on that, it's not enough?
No, they'll loan on
Single unit.
Yeah.
Are they loaning on the park and the individual trailers? What if like half of the trailers have individual notes on them? Are they taking over those notes, or are they loaning on the park? Are they getting those notes out of the way? Like, I'm assuming.
You talking about it if the owner has debt on it already?
Yeah, let's just say
Yeah,
something.
they get paid off at the closing.
I think you're talking about if the trailers are financed.
Yeah.
Like, let's say.
With an outside, say legacy or
Yeah, Legacy's got the
yeah,
trailer
yeah, they pay, yeah.
So they get them out of the way and they,
Yes.
but you have to go through every individual
Yeah, but that's not,
trailer.
you don't have to worry about that because your title company or attorney will do all that for you, that's not your, yeah, that's.
It's like buying a house with a
Yeah,
mortgage.
they're gonna pull each and every
So
one.
they treat those as individual units.
Yes, they pull each individual one and then they pay off any liens and then they demobilize them or make it real.
Okay.
Yeah,
You're allowed to bring it all in-house, right? Only one jumbo loan.
yeah. All right, so does this make sense about,
Once you do that, once you demobilize them, I guess what happens if you need to mobilize it?
it's a pain in that,
I don't think.
Why would you?
Why, you don't wanna do that.
Why you
Now,
think
here's
it's
the
just
I'm glad you brought that
grants?
up. Your
You
property
needed to
taxes on these will go up now, because you demobilized them, or made it real.
And they're real property.
They're real property. So your property taxes will increase, so you wanna find that out in your due diligence. Property taxes after demobilization. How much more? It shouldn't be much more. It really shouldn't be a whole lot, but you gotta be careful. All right, can we move on? Do we have a clear understanding of getting debt from the smaller community banks? Now, you're only gonna get, right now, I'm getting 5%. Even, no, I think I did 4.5 on the last deal. It's 4.5 to 5.
Chris, you go in person or you just call them?
Say again?
You go in person and get this debt to this loans?
Well, I'm signing on behalf of the LLC. I mean, the LLC, when you have an LLC, I'm putting everything in an LLC. I don't wanna give you, I'm not an expert of S Corp, C Corp, so what's best for your state. I know it
Right.
works differently, but everything we're doing, each individual one is an LLC, but I'm personally signing off on this debt.
Most of these business bankers wanna do everything via email right now with COVID anyway, so.
And not in person handshaking?
Not as much right now, maybe at community banks, but.
20 years, okay. All right, so I think that's it on the debt side. Anybody else have any questions on that? Can we move on to next thing?
But just right there, 5%?
Yeah, 4.5, 5% is what I'm getting right now. It may be a little bit more if you're brand new, even they may wanna do 6. Or if you're not structured, most of you guys are just gonna be the finder when you first get started, like acquisitions. 30%. Typically 30, maybe even 20. you're gonna do, the capital is gonna typically want 30% to 30 to 40. Boots on the ground is gonna be typically 10 to 20. Sponsor is gonna typically want probably 40, because he's signing on the debt. So whatever which way you wanna structure this, like for me, if you guys call me and you want me to come in there, if I'm just signing on the debt and I'm not having to put any money, I'm just using my leverage, because I'm gonna probably want, I'm gonna want 30 to 40%. If you're, and then if you found it, let's say you found something, but you're not putting any capital, give you 20 to 30. It depends on how much capital it wants.
Well, and ideally, your capital can also be your sponsors, too, like
Yes.
if you find,
Yes.
ideally, that would be.
For me and Kyle, just so me and Kyle's deal is, we do 60-40. On my team's finding a deal, we're spending money on acquisitions, I'm signing off on the loan, and then we split, we're splitting the down payment, I own 60, he owns 40.
And he's boots on the ground.
And he's boots on the ground. But not really in a sense, because it's
Yeah,
got management, yeah.
So is Kyle like your liaison for the property management, so you have to deal with that, that goes to?
Yeah, he's like the CFO, right? He just handles whatever and you only call me if like we spend a lot on property, right?
Okay.
But typically, I don't wanna do four-way splits, to be honest with you guys, I don't want, that's all, like.
It's a lot of people to
Too many guys, unless it's a huge park. But most of the time, the parks I'm buying, the sweet deals are the 30, I would say the 70 units. Why? We talked about that yesterday. Why is that the sweet deals? The ones we
Big
need
money's
now.
not going out there.
Institutional's not there, and like just retail investment on
They ain't got loans for it. They ain't got the 200 grand or whatever, $400,000 to put down. This is where I play. This is where I can capture $500,000, $800,000 in equity in the front end and buy something for 35 to 50 cents on the dollar. This is where I play. This is where I'm at currently. I'm not saying I'm gonna be like that forever. I may get to where, Will's gonna be speaking here soon about private money. Private funds. I get a fund and I'm using other people's money, this may jump to, 100 to 200.
But
Right?
it's a good place to start
This is where
and
you
not
should
be
start.
overwhelmed.
Because if you go buy an 8-unit like I did, say just not enough. Don't mess with that. Do 24 units or more, right? This is the great starting point, right? And then eventually evolve into doing bigger things like what Cardone Capital's done. Right now he's buying with other people's money and buying a lot more units,
Do
right?
your buddy segment the list like that? You say I just want 30 to 7 years?
No, I don't think so. You just put all the parts. But typically, go ahead.
I was gonna say, if you find the deal, the finder part is the most important. The rest will come, like the capital, the sponsor, like all that will work itself out. If you find a good deal, like the money will
Anybody
flow
will
to
throw
the
you-
flow
yes.
of the deal.
Yes. So if I were you guys, I would just if you have, you could take a deal down by yourself, you could take a deal down by yourself, you could probably take a deal down by yourself, because all four of y'all are already full-time real estate investors, right? If somebody like, you guys, right, y'all guys could probably take a deal down by yourself, but y'all just getting started, you're just getting started, call me and I can help you. They'd probably do like a 60-40 split in Atlanta, right? I'd come in there and go drive out there now, if you can, 60-40 split, if you put half the down payment down, like if the down payment's 20%, it's $1 million loan, I'm putting 20% down, I'll put down 100, you put down 100, you get 40% of the deal, I'll sign the note, I get 60. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Same thing with you.
But if he puts down all the capital, you're gonna get probably 20, 25%
Yeah.
of the deal, which is still.
Still good,
Still
you make
really
real money,
good.
right?
And you get a
This is
free
a
ride,
capital
you get a free
or
ride to learn how these things.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's the value, I'm bringing you all, like you're getting a free mentorship. Yeah.
Be willing to take a
Yeah.
small chunk in order.
Do you get validated when you become the finder on the LLC? Like whenever you take your 20 or 30%, you don't put anything down, will banks still qualify to see you to go like do your own deal? Like as your one deal, like you say, you do one deal and you're good to go. But if you're not doing any of the money, any of the capital or anything like that, do you still get qualified? Like if you wanted to take another, like your second deal?
It may take, it may, go ahead.
They don't know.
Yeah, they don't.
Yeah.
They don't know. They know how much you own of the deal.
Right.
They don't know what you put
Yeah.
into it. They don't know what the other guys put into it. They know what your equity stake of the deal.
Comes down to confidence, so yeah,
Right.
you can talk through it and you know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, good.
So I think we kind of wrapping this up. Look, I want to partner with every one of you guys in this. Like this is why, you gave me some money from where it's great, but like the real money and wealth and relationships is like you call me when you're at a deal, if you want a partner. If you don't want a partner, great, you know, I gave you all the tools of how to do it, right? So, and if you want to, and speaking, go ahead.
Did you hit on the owner finance?
Yes. Thank you. Owner finance, that's huge, man, I was about to miss that shit. Thank you.
I wasn't gonna let you miss it.
These opportunities, some of these parks are so distressed, they're not bankable. They're not bankable, which gives you the opportunity to go in there with freaking really good terms, right, and make your terms. So we got the 30 units we own in Bonifay was owner finance. We put, how much did we put down in there?
15%.
No, how much, 50% of the purchase price? We bought it for what, $545? We bought it for $525, we did get a bank appraisal, we paid $3,000 for a bank appraisal. We got it, it appraised for $835.
Wow.
Bought it for $525, and we put 50% down, it was what, you put $100,000 down, $10 dollars? He put 50, I put 50.
He had had that for a long time. He was a dentist.
Yeah, and so that's the opportunity you're gonna come across, and I'm working another owner finance deal right now. There's gonna be a lot of opportunity to become your own bank and get creative. So that, I'm so glad, that's so huge. So you just structure a deal. You know, we did 7% interest only, we put $100,000 down. Interest only until we get I was about to refinance it out, but then COVID hit and all the banks pulled back. So we're okay with just keep paying interest only. Our note's what, $2,500 a month?
Yeah.
Collecting $17,000 a month.
Yeah.
Go, let's go. Right?
Do you have a principal kicking in at any point in the future? Is there an interest only period?
Protect yourself, right?
Yeah.
Protect yourself. So we put in there, what she's not happy that she didn't cover her bases. I did. I put a clause in there when I signed that order of finance note. I said, hey, you're not, if I can't get bank financing, you can't kick me out. Make sure that's in there. I mean, you can't like try to foreclose on the property. You have to renegotiate terms with me that are somewhat favorable, like, you know, maybe a point or two above what current banking's already doing. But she didn't know all that I had added, well, she saw it, I added that in there. Now she came back to me after COVID, like, so I can't get financed right now, all the banks want to wait till COVID's done. So like, then she sent me, that's fine, just sign this new contract. And it was in there saying, hey, you gotta refinance it in 2 years or we're gonna foreclose. So if I sign her new contract, it cancels out my old contract. I said, I'm not signing that, no, I'm not signing that. So she has to, so we're just paying interest only, and there's nothing she could do about it. And so, but she's a nice lady, I mean, we're figuring it out, right?
And we've never missed a note.
Yeah, we never miss a note,
It's not like we're not.
but her husband's 76, or how old is the owner, 80?
82.
He's 82. He wants his money before he, he's about to kick the bucket, so. He wants his money, but, and I'm gonna get it refinanced. I already talked to some banks, Kyle's working on it, you got some really good leads, and we're gonna help you guys too. You can, you know, if you need banking, big institutional money like hedge fund and stuff, we're working on getting, I'm just not there yet. I haven't, they're out there, I don't know about it, but we're working through the vine of people that are, as the years go by and more money starts flowing to this, the hedge funds, then banks are like, oh, this is cool, yeah, we'll start banking this. It's coming, but owner finance is a really good option with these older parks.
How long do you put in for your finance? So you say, I'm gonna go get finance, that's a big plug for them.
Yeah, it was 2 years, and we came upon the 2 years, and we tried to get finance, and then COVID hit. But the bank, the local bank in Panama City was about to do it, they're underwriting, and COVID hit, and they said, no, we'll hold off, so. But we would've got it financed. But there's so much opportunity, because they can't,